Hi guys, it's Grant Carter here. Just going to read a bit out of the book, Surviving and Healing the Addiction, Breaking the Chains and Healing from Addictions. It's my book. It's a free book. You can get it all over the place. There'll be a link in the description. So I'm just going to read the introduction here to start today. And yeah, we'll carry on through the book throughout. An addiction is an uncontrollably strong longing for something, an abnormal kinky obsession for things. A person with addiction is called an addict. Addiction is a hydra-headed concept having different facets. Medical researches and studies have divulged that every individual to some extent has an addiction. People who have an uncanny pining or obsession for anything are indeed addicted. Medical studies have also revealed other forms of addiction besides alcohol, nicotine, and drugs. According to the medical community, generally, there are two forms of addiction. First, there is a physical addiction or physical dependence and physiological addiction. The second type is called pseudo addiction. Physical dependence, an addiction in which the addict becomes physically dependent on intoxicating substances or drugs. People dependent on tobacco or smoking suffer from a nicotine addiction. Dipsomaniac people suffer from alcohol addiction. Drug addiction means addiction to certain drugs. Drug addiction is an extreme state of addiction resulting from drug abuse. Drug abuse is common practice when hard drugs are abused. For example, cocaine, amphetamines, methamphetamines, opiates, heroin, morphine, and codeine, and of course, laxatives, are drugs derived from narcotics. There is a debate over the idea that freely sold substances like alcohol and nicotine should be classified as hard drugs, as both are linked with high mortality rates. The psychological addiction. The term means getting psychologically addicted to certain things or practices. Sometimes some people are highly obsessed with practices like gambling, food, sex, pornography, computer, work, shopping, spending, etc. Therefore, as absurd as this may sound, these people do suffer from gambling addiction, food addiction, sex addiction, porn addiction, computer addiction, work addiction, shopping addiction, and spending addiction, respectively. People addicted to food consumption are highly preoccupied with overeating, and overeating is a food addiction. These people are sometimes mockingly dubbed as food alcoholics. Narcissism is also a form of addiction. Pseudo addiction is the state in which a patient manifests drug seeking behavior, similar to psychological addiction. However, the patient experiences genuine pain or other symptoms. In such cases, normal behavior is resumed as soon as the pain has subsided. The physical dependence on a substance such as a drug addiction, nicotine addiction, and alcohol addiction can sadly have direly fatal results. We've all lost people in our lives due to drugs at some point. Addiction in any form is a sign of an abnormality that requires immediate treatment. An addiction is a disorder, but is treatable. There are numerous addiction help centers or rehabilitation centers providing addiction treatment all over the world. Standard drug addiction treatment may include behavioral therapy, medication therapy, or a combination of both. People experiencing any symptoms of addiction should go forward for treatment before their addiction becomes significantly advanced. Understanding addictions. Addictions eventually catch up with you and change your life in such a way that you will have to face the fact that you need help. Recovering from addictions usually happens once you have hit the bottom and finally realize that you need help from the outside sources so that you can lead an addiction-free life. Many types of addictions will have a devastating effect of your life. Addictions, the recovery from them, require that you actively seek help from the source other than yourself. You may want to start by counseling with your family doctor or with addictions counselor. This is a good place to start since it will be important to access both your emotional and your physical behavior as they are related to your addictions and your substance abuse. You have and your doctor will need to decide what is going to work best for you so that you stop using your drug of choice. It won't matter what type of addiction is since all addictions require the same amount of professional help and support. There are several different types of addictions that you may or may not already be aware of. Addictions include alcohol abuse, opiates, food addictions, marijuana abuse, very rampant now that it's legal all over, relationship addictions, sex addictions, gambling addiction. People become addicted to too many types of substances. Many people become addicted to medications and other substances. Some substances are more addictive than others. For instance, drugs like heroin are so addictive that it can take only 1 or 2 uses before a person is fully addicted. A person who is addicted to cocaine has grown so used to the drug that they feel that they can't live without it. Addiction can be physical, psychological, or both. Physical addiction is where a person has become physically dependent on a substance. Over time, a person will build up a tolerance to that substance so that they need a larger dose so they can get the same effects. When an addict is physically dependent and addicted to a substance stops using, they may experience withdrawal symptoms. Withdrawal can be much like having a flu and include symptoms such as shakes, diarrhea, and weakness. Believe that recovery is possible. Freedom from addictions is often referred to as recovery. There are many temporary solutions for freedom from addictions, but there are only 2 ways to permanently overcome addictions. One of the most common methods of overcoming addictions is to be firm with the practice of abstinence. This means that you can completely stop using your drug of choice so that you have no way to continue to feed your addictions. That's what I did. This means that the alcoholic can never have another drink, and that place the gambling addict can never go again into the casino or a place where the type of gambling actions take place. This method of abstinence, however, won't work for food addictions since you cannot stop eating. Wanting to give up your addictions is one thing, but following through with abstinence is a very difficult thing for an addict. Many addicts think that they can continue with their addictions, but moderately use their drug of choice. For most people with addictions, this is only a dream and wishful thinking. Full recovery from addictions and most addicts will mean a lifetime of abstinence from the drug of choice. For those addicts with addictions that can be controlled by moderately limiting their drug of choice, the realistic goal, those addictions can be overcome permanently. These types of addictions include food addictions, shopping addictions, sexual addictions. The addict will need to decide how much moderation they need to exercise before their addictions take over the addictive behavior once again. This is a path of recovery from addictions. And that's the introduction. I'll go through to chapter 1 here in a little bit. Have a blessed day, everyone.